that Maulana Karenga added the second A to differentiate, so he can put a difference between you and your brothers. He added an A. He added an A. Now, just to divert from that for a second, National Security Memorandum 46 says that it is imperative for us to keep the Africans on that side separate from the Africans on this side. We cannot allow them to congregate. We cannot allow them to get together and form a united front. That's what they wrote. We don't write national security memorandums. That's what they wrote, right? And then he's perpetuating. He's still putting a wedge between you and your brothers and sisters over there.
Not just that.
Now I'm thinking of
we talked to them at Rutgers. Yeah, because we told them about self at Rutgers.
Oh, y'all did?
Yeah. Was that, how many years ago was that?
10.
About 10 years ago. Yeah.
Now, what was
You told them the truth.
What was his retort? What did he say? Yeah. What was his response?
No, what we were saying, you know, even with the candlesticks, not telling them that they were 7 Elor and giving them the holy names and telling them the truth. You know, why you got to make up something that you know is still not the truth,
Right, he's not
under the
giving
guise of bringing them to Afrocentricity when he actually told them another lie.
Right. You're extending the
Because
lie.
you know them 7 candlesticks don't represent no
Coochie chocolate.
emoji and all this crap.
Coochie chocolate.
Peanut butter sandwiches.
That's actually where we going now.
Coochie chocolate.
So Maulana Karenga gave you.
That's why I couldn't remember the rap.
Somebody got to hold my paperwork.
No, I think I got
Somebody been over on his desk.
Nah,
Yeah,
man.
because my paperwork ain't on there.
Nah, man. He wouldn't do that to you.
Nah, I got that. I'm looking for all my paperwork. There it is.
Accusing, falsely accusing, falsely accusing.
Maulana Karenga gave you 7 candles, and he gave you 7 days. He gave you Moja, which is unity. He gave you Kuji Jagalia. I think everybody remember that one.
I don't.
And that means self-determination. He gave you Ujima, and that's collective work and responsibility. Ujima, cooperative economics. Nia, purpose. And Kumba, creativity. And Imani is faith. When we were at the Lot Conference, one of the elders that makes some wooden sculptures had one of those, and he wanted to know what the Circle 7 was on my wrist. What did the Circle 7 stand for? So I told him. And then the next day when I seen him again, then we had Taj tell him, because maybe he wasn't trusting what I said. So then we had Taj tell him what it was. And the 7 principles he gave you, they're not bad. Emoja, unity, to strive and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. I don't have an issue with that. The only issue I got is him not being totally forthcoming and not telling you everything that you need to know. I don't have a problem with unity, to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. But then we got to start to break these words down. What's community? Do we really have common unity? Because if we did, then he would have told us the truth about the 7 candlesticks that's up there. But he didn't. He put his twist on them, and he put his celebratory thing on there, and he became famous for it.
Translation, he lied.
Oh, and tell.
It says nation and race. It says nation and race. What nation? So when they talking nation, They talking this nation.
RBG.
They talking the black nation.
RBG.
Red, black, and green. But that nation don't exist. It only exists in our minds. It only exists in people's hearts because it's an emotion that they deal with.
Right.
Kujichagulia is self-determination, to define ourselves, to name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves, rather than to allow others to do these things for us. So to define ourselves, to name ourselves, to create ourselves, and to speak for ourselves, rather than allow others to do this for us. Somebody already done that. Somebody already put a paradigm in place for us to be able to do that.
That's right.
And they ignored it.
Then he agreed and perpetrated it.
After they killed him, and after the movement went in every different direction they could go in, you forgot about that. You forgot that your name was given back to you, that your title was given back to you. You forgot about who you were. You forgot, and then you was told again, and then you damn forgot again. And then he comes along with Kujichagulia, and everybody like, oh, that's a nice fancy word, Kujichagulia. Well, you already been told. Prophet Noble Ali brought you that way back when.
100 years ago.
Ujima, collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our community together, to make our sisters and brothers' problems our problems, and to solve them together. We damn sure ain't done that. There's a whole lot of people gonna be celebrating Kwanzaa in a couple weeks, and ain't none of them.
They just gift giving.
I didn't somehow fell into making everybody's issues my issues. I stay on the phone
Kwanzaa's corporate.
or emails. Yeah, I mean, listen.
It's supposed to be, you're supposed to make gifts and all that, but when you see a commercial for a car that says Happy Christmas Hana Kwanzaa, that just looks, that's the red flag right there.
That's what happens. That's what happens. Ujama, cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own shops, stores, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. What happened? If Malana Karenga was so serious about this, he ain't pushed forward on none of it. I don't see him beating the concrete. I don't see him showing up at none of these meetings, or I never even heard of him coming to Philly.
Yeah, he does.
That's
Temple.
a-
He goes to Temple?
Yeah.
Yeah, every year forever.
Wears shades like an eighth.
That's all
You
you
never see his face. So
Yeah,
wears shades.
I mean, so what about maintaining our own stores? I mean, all of this is stuff he put together.
They're boarded up, the stores he.
He should be showing up with an economic plan. If he's talking about cooperative economics, he should be showing up with an economic plan and say, listen, this is what we can do. This is what we can do. We need a purpose to make our collective vocation in building and developing our community in order to restore our people to traditional greatness. It's almost sound like you're starting to repeat itself.
Now this is the issue we had with the very statement, was if he was doing that, we would tell him what those 7 candlesticks really mean. And if he's talking about economics, he already know that the people not in their proper person can't control economics, because the estate automatically goes to the estate, which is why they're branded black and put under the black codes, which is a contradiction. And he knows better, because we told him.
Number 6 is Kuma, creativity. To do always as much as we can, in the way we can, in order to leave our community more beautiful and more beneficial than when we inherited it. I ain't know what to say about that.
Boarded up stores.
Everything is boarded up.
One can of peas.
Chinese stores on this corner.
Poppy store in that corner.
Poppy store on the other corner.
The poppies, I mean, see, the sad thing is the poppies don't, some of them know they are brothers, and some of them ain't, you know, they, whatever.
They ain't feeling it.
You know what I'm saying? But you got the Chinese store selling rice and wings. You got the Korean store selling weeds and fingernails. I mean, you got everybody in the community, you know, thriving financially, but us. And we feed them. Imani, faith. To believe with all our hearts in people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. How are we supposed to believe in leaders when we ain't seen no real leadership? Ain't nobody laid out no economic plan. Ain't nobody really telling you the truth about your national life. So nobody, it's a few of us. Ain't nobody really telling you the truth about what's going on out here. But you got these 7 principles and people swear by it. Only on them 7 days though they swear by it. Because for the rest of the year, they acting like,
Hey, gotta get my fingernails done.
You know he ain't got remedies.
if I put this into effect, didn't he go to jail not long after this? For a minute?
Yeah, a little bit.
Malana Karanga, right? And not long after Kwanzaa, after he come up with Kwanzaa, he did a little bit of jail time.
Really?
Beating the girl down.
He beat his chick up.
I think it's something like that.
Yeah, he went to prison for a
He
little
was
bit.
doing the Christian thing.
Oh, that's why he wears his shades. You can't see his face.
Got beating somebody up.
You're not gonna see my eyes.
Sisters.
How many people know what the 7 candlesticks stand for? Anybody? Know what the 7 candlesticks stand for, what they represent?
The real meaning or
Not you,
the
Todd. And not that dude.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Let's talk, go ahead.
From what Taj taught, or they represent the planets or certain planets, and if you draw the lines on them through each other, it shows the axis that they're on.
Let's talk about the holy names of the 7 Idoa and the 7 days, according to the planetary, to the planets that rule them,
Mikael.
and the Eloah that represent them. Sunday is the first day of the week. It is ruled by the sun. The holy name of Sunday, Domingo in Spanish, is Mikael. That's one candle.
Gabriel.
Number 2, Monday is the second day of the week, which is ruled by the moon. The holy name of Monday, lunes in Spanish, is Gabriel. Tuesday is the third day of the week.
Mars.
It's ruled by Mars. The holy name of Tuesday, Martes in Spanish, is Zamael. Wednesday is the fourth day of the week. It's ruled by Mercury.
Raphael.
The holy name of Wednesday, Miércoles in Spanish, is Rafael. Thursday, the fifth day of the week, is ruled by Jupiter. The holy name of Thursday is Jueves in Spanish, is Sacael. Friday is the sixth day of the week, is ruled by Venus.
Anael.
The holy name of Friday, Viernes in Spanish, is Anael. Saturday is the seventh day of the week, is ruled by Saturn. The holy name of Saturn, Sábado in Spanish, is Casael. How come nobody never told y'all that? Church, Milana Karanga, any of your other teachers?
Because it does what he said that he was doing. It takes them back to their culture, which is all he needed to do was tell the truth if he really was taking them back to the culture.
These the leaders, y'all. Milana Karanga, Sig Al Sharpton, like my man said earlier. Jesse Jackson.
They ran them out of Ferguson,
All
didn't
of
they?
these guys.
That was amazing.
That was funny. Ran him out of Ferguson, yeah.
What you around? You and Jesse.
What? When they get out of
Yeah,
here?
did y'all see the Jesse Jackson video?
Yeah.
He was up at McDonald's
He's
or
like
something.
sitting in the car,
Yeah,
and
in the
the
car,
video,
yeah.
his brother
Yeah.
ran up on him, the older guy too. He ran up
He was-
on him like, "Yo, we don't want you here.
He said, "What you doing down here,
You don't
Jesse?"
got nothing to do with us.
I'm out
You're
here.
gonna stop our movement. You're gonna take money and he rolled his window up and everything."
Ran him, and
You had no choice
both
but
of them
to
ran them out of town.
Yeah. Snitches get stitches.
Well, see, I think
He
the
had no
family,
choice.
The pink house in Manhattan did.
the Rice family, the family in New York and the family in Ohio said that they don't want Sharpton there.
Yeah.
All you gonna do is go back to the UN and say, "I'm black, I need help." The UN gonna say, "Where's your flag?"
I heard he a regular sound wave, Al Sharpton. He come in here and he a walking tape recorder. You can't see anything.
On December 25th, you get the resurrection. You're talking about the sun rising 1 degree to the north every day until it reaches its highest point of elevation, right? Well, when is the resurrection that they tell us about?
Easter.
Easter
When
and
is
all
it?
that.
Easter.
Star.
Anybody know when Easter is?
supposed to be in March.
March something.
New Year's.
Vernal
It's
equinox.
supposed to be in March.
Spring.
In March and April.
Something with the
It's supposed to be in March or April, one or the other, right?
No,
March
like
21st.
The
But-
end, the end of the.
It's either in March or it's in April,
But
right?
actually, the New Year's.
Yes.
It's 40 days after Mardi Gras.
So March or April,
40 days after
40 days after Mardi Gras, huh?
That's a perfect way to remember it.
Y'all
That's true.
don't think it's strange that sometimes Easter is in March and sometimes Easter is in April?
It's based on
Yeah.
where the sun is, right?
It's astrological, just like all the rest of it is.
Yes, it's true.
But if you look up, you can look up Easter Sunday for 2:15, and you'll find out when it is.
Yeah.
Right. And then you can look up Sunday 3015, and you'll find out when it is, and 4015,
That's another thing.
and you'll find out when it is.
Mhm.
The spring equinox is when?
21st.
21st. The first full moon after the equinox, well, after the first full moon, so that's March 21st, then you get a full moon after the equinox, right? After that full moon, the very first Sunday, March Easter, every year. That's why the date changes from March to April. Because after the spring equinox, the first full moon happens, and then the very first Sunday after that is Easter. Now, they told you that my man was resurrected. That's what you celebrate, the resurrection of Jesus Christ, right? So how he was resurrected in March and April? So it don't make sense. It don't make sense. But if you don't dig into it, or if you don't even question it, you'll just accept it and you'll keep on buying yourself a nice new outfit every Easter. Not realizing that this year is in April and last year was in March and you don't even know why. That's why, because it's astrological. See how they take your science and they just do what they want with it and play with it the whole nine. Even January 1st. Now, 1,000 times everybody inside this class today has said that New Year is in March. Right?
No, it ain't.
When is it? Who said no, it ain't?
I did.
When is it?
March 21st.
What you said is in March.
Huh?
It's in March.
Oh, I apologize. I
You
apologize.
said
It's
it.
ready.
That's right.
So you got New Year's in March. But why January 1st?
The Gregorian calendar. It coincides with the.
No such calendar.
Oh, it was something.
Go by the
It was
calendar.
such
Go by
calendar.
Go by
It
the
was something
console.
they was doing. Damn.
What happens astrologically on January 1st? Nah, the sun already came back on the 25th. Dooley, what happens on January 1st?
January 1st is Sirius. Sirius is the dog star. It's the highest point in the sky. And can be seen in most parts of the world. It's when Sirius is in the midheaven. That's what happens on January 1st.
Sirius is conjunct in midheaven on January 1st. On that night, now do this. Write down Sirius. Write down Sirius. S-I-R-U-S. Conjunct. Write down Sirius conjunct. And then find out all the things that happen
During that cycle.
when Sirius is conjunct something. But when Sirius is conjunct in midheaven, for this so-called government, that's supposed to be empowering for them. On that particular day, on January 1st, when Sirius is in midheaven, when it's conjunct in midheaven, that's a powerful day for them and the so-called corporate government. But just type in Sirius conjunct, and then see what happens when Sirius is conjunct Mars, what they think is going to happen. See what happens when Sirius is conjunct this, what they think is going to happen. See when Sirius is conjunct that, what they think is going to happen.
January 20th.
January 20th, they inaugurate the president.
Yep.
Every January, that's always the inauguration day. They don't do anything. It was Teddy Roosevelt that said nothing in politics happens by accident.
You got that choice.
Nothing happens by accident. Sirius, the dog star, is in Canis Major. About to draw a dog. Don't hear nobody's mouth. Hey, listen. That's a dog.
Really?
Good. That's a dog. Now, listen, that's a dog. All right?
He ain't eaten in a long time.
He ate a long time. It's a greyhound.
That looks like them dogs that be in the caves, the hunter and gatherer style.
It's a greyhound. Same as no helper.
Oh, they have hunter gatherer.
So astrologically, you got I forget how many stars in the constellation, but you got a constellation of stars. And if they drew a picture around them, then it would make a dog, right?
Yeah.
So Sirius is actually right here. Would be in the throat of the dog.
Yeah.
Or I guess we can say that Sirius would be the throat chakra.
All right.
Now, I want y'all to understand something. Just because Sirius Radio uses a dog with a star in his eye, same as the dog star, same Sirius as the dog star. Just because they use a dog with a star in his eye, don't mean that it was them that created that.
Nope.
Go back into your ancient. I was ready to say shit. I said it.
Yeah, watch
Go back
yourself.
into. Yeah.
Okay.
On July 4th, you got what's called the heliacal rising of Sirius, meaning Sirius and the sun rises at the same time. But in the United States, July 4th marks what? Independence. So whenever you feel like it, go onto the internet or go and check out some other calendars and find out how many other nations celebrate their independence on July 4th. You said none? Oh no, there's a gang on it. Go look. Go look. So how is it that everybody got free from Britain on July 4th?
Exactly like that.
Or is that got something to do with something else?
You got that right twice.
Anybody know what happened anywhere around July 5th through the 7th in Kemet, in Egypt? You got the inundation of the Nile. Flooded. When the flood recedes, see, that's their new year. Back in Kemet, that was their new year. When they got the inundation, when the river flooded, when it receded, the ground was so fertile that they said that they could just throw seeds on the ground and the crops would grow. So that was their new year. That was the coming of life, the return of life for them, the return of crops, the return of life. All of this stuff astrologically, and they giving it to you, and
Holiday
I'm trying not to curse, but they giving it to you in BS.
Yes, he do.
But, well, you know, BS Guido, I don't want to steal Taj word. That's not BS Guido, but, you know, they give you all of this stuff. And nobody says, you know what, let me dig a little deeper. January 1st, July 4th, all around Sirius. But like I said, if you just type in Sirius conjunct, you'll find out everything that they love about the star Sirius. They love your sciences. They love astronomy. They love astrology. They love it. And they told you to run away from it in the Bible. Because they know if you go into that Bible, you're going to break down the story of Jesus. Astrologically every 21st, every December 21st.
Yep.
They know if you go into that Bible, if you go into astrology, you're going to start to pick apart a whole lot that they do. Like Teddy Roosevelt said, nothing in politics happens by accident. Nothing on this planet happens by accident,
That's
really.
right. That's right. Law governs all events.
Any questions about anything? Let's talk about our boy Jesus for a second. Since Jesus allows the softness. Right here on this piece of paper I got, it says circa 1 ACE was birth. ACE stands for what? After Christ? Does ACE stand for after Christ?
After Christian.
BC before? Huh?
After Christian.
After the Common Era.
Oh,
BCE before the Common Era.
all right.
Well, if you look at it etymologically, it can't stand for after Christ because the word is over 10,000 years old. I mean, the word's not 2,000 years old; it's 10,000 years old. It can't stand for that.
It said Jesus had two mothers. Mary, huh? It says Jesus had two mothers, Mary the Virgin, who conceived him, and Mary, the wife of Cleophas, who brought him forth as one of her 5 children. Jesus remained with his mother, the Virgin, up until the age of 12 years old, when he left her to be about his father's business. From 12 to 30, there is no record of the life of Jesus. Jesus, at 30 years of age, who was made a man in his baptism by John the Baptist. Jesus in his baptism is held from heaven as the beloved Son and only begotten of the Father God, the Holy Spirit represented by a dove. That's what they told us about Jesus, right? And that was in 1 ACE. Now, in 3200 BCE, before that common era, there was the story of Heru. Heru had 2 mothers, Isis the Virgin who conceived him, Nephthys who nursed him. He was brought forth singly as one of 5 brothers. Horus was with his mother the Virgin until 12 years old, when he was transformed into the beloved Son of God as the only begotten of the Father in heaven. From 12 to 30 years of age, there is no record of the life of Heru. Heru at 30 years of age, and forgive me if I said Horus, it says Horus on the paper. I don't like to use the Greek terms. I like to use the actual terms, right? Heru. Heru at 30 years of age became an adult in his baptism by Anu. Horus in his baptism made his transformation into the beloved Son and only begotten of the Father, the Holy Spirit represented by a bird. Now that's the story of Jesus told 3,200 years before Jesus. In 3000 BCE, I'm sorry, in 1200 BCE, you had Mithra of Persia. 900 BCE, you had Krishna of India.
Same below.
500 BCE, you had Dionysus of Greece. All of these with the same story, with the same virgin birth, the same 2 mother, the same disappearing at age 12. What the hell was going on from 12 to 30?
Can we get them for plagiarism?
You're talking about, as a matter of fact, in the Bible, as he has the Bible, as they close out the book of Malachi for the Old Testament, you have 4 chapters that represent the 4 gates of the circle 7. And then it tells you the Son of Righteousness arises with healing in his wings, and then it gives you the Kabbalistic code, and it spells Son, S-U-N.
You're absolutely right.
Yep.
It does close out saying that's yeah.
Yep.
Where's that at?
What's that, the end of Malachi?
No,
Yeah, Malachi.
I think it says Nahum.
Malachi.
Malachi.
Yeah.
Michael.
Malachi.
Heru had a crown of thorns.
What about the crown of thorns?
I said Heru had a crown of thorns at his death also. So-called death.
There's a book called The 16 Crucified Saviors. It's actually more than 16, but that's what the book is about, 16 Crucified Saviors.
Yeah.
Pick it up and read it.
Give
And
you
you'll find the story of Jesus over and over and over and over. Our people won't examine that. If you tell our people that that story existed before Jesus, they cut your throat.
You know
They
it.
be ready to knock you over the head because they indoctrinated. If you try to tell people that the winter solstice it represents the story of the boy in the manger, the baby in the manger, they'll cut your throat. They won't even examine it. They won't even examine it. The three kings followed the star of the east to witness the birth of the sun. If you look at it astrologically, it's right there. It happens every year. You can't change it and you can't stop it.
Gotta get you some ribbons.
The same people that gave it to you, they don't even go for it. They ain't even falling for it. But you got an ancient culture, an ancient history that's second to none.
What I find to be effective, dealing with hundreds of people, is that take the name Jesus back.
Take it away from them.
See, what happens is that we are dissing the name Jesus. You got to take the name Jesus to its origin. I mean, don't give them the name Jesus. That's the first mistake when you start off on the door. All right, don't give them the name Jesus. All right, so the name Jesus go back to the Phoenician, the IA. It has what's called a two consonant. You have the Babylonian, which is IO. So you know that has more ancient form. Then the Europeans they transliterated the name, the IE, the IEO, the IEOS, to JESUS. So the name Jesus belongs to you. The Europeans don't make names up; they transliterate names.
Yeah.
They don't make names up. It's called transliteration. That's the name. That's the term you use. Transliterated from cross the letter from the ancient language. So you got the first thing is to take the name Jesus back and the name Christ back from you, because that's Krishna. So that's how you become more effective. That's for my dealing with a lot of people. Even when I did the Illuminati piece, I got Masons in St. Louis and Cleveland. Brother in Cleveland called me, wants me to speak. He was a grandmaster, wants me in Cleveland. And Taj and I are going to St. Louis to speak to hundreds of Masons, these are stars. Because I'm placing the words in this ancient cultural context. Aryan, whatever. Take the names back.
Allowing them to read.
Even God.
God too. Take the name God back too.
Y'all can't have God either.
Buddha. Take that back too.
So you're saying that in these Masons, they don't know any of this?
No.
They want you there.
No.
These people have never taught them that.
No.
So that's a big thing that they should want you. You know what I mean?
I spoke at the King Solomon Grand Lodge on July 13, 2013. And I got that tape going all over the country. And that's the King Solomon Grand Lodge in D.C. and Newbie, the Grand Master, invited me. And Brother Fahim in St. Louis, when he saw it, he said, "Brother, that's a power move you made. You had a Grand Master inviting you to his lodge. Brother, do you know that's a power move?" Me, I'm like, all right. He was like, "That's a power move, brother. You made a powerful move, bro."
Yeah, I ain't saying much for him, but yeah, all right.
You get an apron too?
Say.
I just got a hold of the Lion's Bible. So I'm reading Malachi 4 from there. It says, "For, behold, the day cometh, that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stoned. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch." When I used to go to football practice as a child, I used to walk past a flower pot. And it took me about 2 years of walking past it to figure out what the flower pot meant. It said, "Once was water, next time fire." And I was a child, and I'm sitting there, and I'm walking past it, and I'm looking at it on the way to football practice, on the way to baseball practice. And it took me a while to figure it out. So the first time was a flood. Everybody know about the Great Flood. And they say from the Bibliotech and from everything else, they say the next time will be fire. And that's what you're reading right here. But it took me a little while as a child. I was able to put that together. "But unto that fear my name shall the Son of righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and yea, shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall." That's 4:2.
Spell son.
I will. It's chapter 4, verse 2. Malachi. But unto you that bear my name shall the Son, capital S-U-N, of righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts. Remember ye that the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes of judgments, behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
Now, you want to look at that? Now, for us to cure, we got to turn our hearts back to our mothers and fathers. See what the code withdrawal says. Go back to the state of mind of your ancient
That's what I'm
mothers and
sitting here
fathers.
thinking, because I'm sitting here and it's almost like I'm rereading the prophet's word. See, people talk about the prophet Jesus. They talk about the prophet Muhammad. They even pay homage to Nostradamus as a prophet. But nobody don't pay no homage to Prophet Noble Ali. And this is a man that we know lived. We ain't trying to figure out if he did. We ain't trying to piece together what he might have looked like. We know. But they're overlooking him, and they over ignoring him, and they ignoring him, and they disregarding him. And it's not so much for us to worship Prophet Noble Ali like they worship Jesus. No, it's for us to honor the work that he brought. It's for us to respect it and to build upon it. But they ain't going to tell you about, I'm going to Candyland in a month. And I'm going to speak on Noble Ali Day. And I'm going to speak about the assassination of the movement and the assassination of the prophet. They ain't assassinated the movement of Jesus. Jesus been kicking our asses. I seen a post one day that said, and forgive me, then the baby's in the back, forgive me for my language. It said, which was worse in our community, Jesus or crack? And without a doubt, it was the image that they gave us. Crack just showed up about, what, 30-some years ago? We've been getting knocked in the head by the mythical character that they created in 325 AD for a very long time. For a very long time. You can go back and you can review all the councils that they had. Council of Nicaea, Council of Chalcedon, Council of Ephesus, and it's one more, it's a fourth one. I can't think of it right now, it escapes me. But go back and look at how they put Jesus together. And every time it was the guy named Aramis that showed up to the priest and said, whoa, y'all lying. Like, hold up, how all of a sudden this is the way we got to worship when just 20 years ago that didn't even exist. There was a brother named Aramis that ran up to all these Catholic priests at the Council of Nicaea and came down on them. We don't have no problem researching and checking out everything else. We won't even research our own culture. We won't even research our own history. And it's beautiful. They love it. They live by it. They run the world with your science. They run the world with Islam. And they keeping you away from it.
Yep.
They got you thinking Islam is a doctrine. They don't want you to learn yourself. They don't want you to master yourself. Once you master yourself, it's over for them, and they know it.
You got that right.
They know. Christmas, Yuletide, Saturnalia, Kwanzaa, all of them. Examine it for what it is. And then look past it and celebrate what you should be celebrating. It's a festive time of year. It always had been for your ancestors. I ain't saying break the bank and go out there and buy 1,000,001 Christmas presents. Well, I guess with Kwanzaa, I think you were supposed to make gifts and give them to each other. But don't not celebrate it, because I think a few of us made that mistake, saying I'm not going to celebrate Christmas anymore.
That's your holiday.
You don't have to celebrate the birth of Jesus, but celebrate the birth of the Son. Because the Son is now reborn, and now the days are going to get longer. I just showed it to you. On this day, you're going to have 1 second more of daylight than the day before. And in a little while, the tree is going to start to bloom again, the grass is going to start to grow. So you got the celebration of life. So don't be afraid to examine and celebrate your ancient sciences and your ancient culture, because it's there and it's beautiful.
That's right.
Don't be afraid to look past the nonsense that they placed in front of you and put it to the side. Don't be afraid to tell people, well, obviously Rick ain't afraid. He told that lady Jesus didn't exist when they came because he ran her wrong. Don't be afraid to tell people.
Ready to stomp on your foot, huh?
Yeah, don't be afraid to tell people what it is.
It's going to be trash all in here.
Oh, yeah. He got us on the sugar list. Thanks, Rick. But listen, I got all this literature up here. It was really too much for me to print. So I take everybody's email address, I'll scan it and email it to you all so you all got it. Any questions? Yes?
I just sort of have a statement. You were saying that, Drew Ali is not recognized as a prophet. He's not recognized here because all the world knows about Noble Drew Ali because, the acknowledgement of, what was it, 26 when he was down at or 28 at in Cuba, Hey, the mandate is given. Everybody that was there said, "Oh, Drew Ali, all right."
The problem with that is that we domicile in the United States, and that they're going to keep that door shut. It's up to us. It's up to us to turn the knob, open it, and walk through that door, and examine Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because they're going to keep it from us. They're going to continuously tell us about Jesus the prophet, Muhammad the prophet, and like I said, they'll even give you Nostradamus. And tell you everything that Nostradamus has said is going to happen is happening. Yeah, whatever. When the prophet came to help you redeem yourself, to uplift all of humanity, to help you uplift your woman. You uplift the woman, you uplift the children. She going to do it naturally in some maternal instinct.
Yep.
In some maternal instinct, she can't help it.
Can't help it. The girl can't help it.
Any more questions? Where's Canaan Land? Canaan Land is what they call Canada.
Quick question, since you just said that, who are the original inhabitants of the Palestinians?
Palestine?
Yes, the ancient.
Look at America.
I know.
Where do them folks that's there come from? They're not from there.
They call Ashkenazi. The so-called Jews, the Germanic people.
Sure.
Yeah, but I was just watching a little documentary, what the Ashkenazis are doing to those Europeanized Palestinians, and then I seen a video of the Moorish Palestinians that's been there forever, and they was talking about the prejudice that's going on with them, with the so-called people of Palestine.
You're going to go see now if you leave Palestine, right, and you go to any other nation over there in what they call the middle of the East, you're going to run into that same paradigm.
Yep.
And when you come over to this land, to Africa in the West, and you go down to Southwest Africa, you're going to run into the same paradigm. The darker you are, the more prejudice you're going to face. That's everywhere. When take for example, like we talked about Brazil. Brazil got more dark-skinned people than any place on the planet rather than Africa in the East. But when you see Brazil on TV, you see highly light-skinned people. You don't see people that look like you in Brazil. When they talk about the Colombian drug trade, when you see Pablo Escobar look like H-Bay. But all his goons look like me. You're talking about Colombia. You're talking about Peru. So Palestine, Peru, wherever you want to go, they're going to face the same thing. And they got them Ashkenazi, the Germanic people, breathing down their necks in Palestine, in Peru, in Bogota, in the United States. So if you're asking who were the original Persians, look in the mirror. If you ask who are the original people, look in the mirror. You accomplished the whole globe. You're not, there's no, you know how they say there's nothing new under the sun? Well, there ain't no place new to you under the sun.
Is that right?
Any more questions? Cool, I guess we can wrap it up then. I trust that I left y'all with some more information y'all can use. And as always, I love y'all. We'll see y'all on the 3rd of January. Peace and love. It's on.
All right. I want to thank you.